Brian Michael Bendis. Like all good assassins, he also has three names. Known for lifting one eyebrow. I couldn't tell you what that's about. He's got a man crush on Luke Cage. He's a comic book writer. He's known primarily for, at least in my mind, his New Avengers. Even though this is dope Mike Deodato Jr. art you're looking at here. New Avengers dialogue. Mainly a lot of New Avengers dialogue. Excessive dialogue. And his New Avengers was pretty solid all the way up through Dark Reign. Right around 56, 57, I'd say. Don't even bother with it after that. He's also known for Powers, where he also writes a lot of dialogue. At least I think this is Powers. I never read it. This might even be United States of America or United States of Murder. And more recently, Superman. I guess every 30 years, DC has to revamp the Man of Steel title. Bendis came on board with DC. Right away, probably pushed to step in the same footprints as John Byrne did 30 years earlier. And now Bendis is obviously on the big bad flagship Superman title. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. But there's something else we got to note. Besides this here, anyway. And that's what this well-known industry scribe, comic book industry scribe, tried hiding in this tweet. As you can see there, all good old BMB, all he said was, this is like vintage 1999 Sorkin on July 12th. Reference to the West Wing. It's like an 8-year political show, you know. Writers bigging up other writers. I guess Sorkin's a poet and playwright, and he was in charge of doing all the scribe work on the West Wing, the TV show. But you know, Bendis didn't just tweet anything. He made sure to tweet out good old RVA Wonk. RVA Wonk. Bendis' hero right there, and as you can read, Peter Strzok, however the hell you say his name. I'm not very good in Klingon. I think it's Peter Strzok, because I know it's not Struck. How he absolutely destroyed Trey Gowdy. Okay, now Bendis could have put his Sorkin reference out there many, many different ways, but he made sure to use RVA Wonk again. Okay? And if you guys know anything about Carolyn O there, Wonk, whatever you want to call it, who Bendis retweets, I'll tell you exactly who that person is, okay? You know who they are? They're a lying out their teeth, coastal school brainwashed, MSNBC/brainwashed, new age progressive, posted up on a soapbox at the park, protesting, spewing poisonous propaganda with a pussy hat on, okay? And this is what's so funny about this right here, that Bendis would try to big up this guy of all people. And I don't think anyone else really noticed what I'm about to show you right here. Is this right here, because what Bendis did by essentially showing support for Peter Strzok is kind of blasphemous in a sense, not only to Walmart, but to the new company he works for, because Walmart just started doing these exclusive DC 100-page giants, right? So what's the big deal? Well, the big deal here is, if I can find it in my own damn video, he's got some exclusive stuff coming to the 100-page Batman giant. These started July 1st at Walmart. I think they're only $5. They're a great deal. They're mostly reprinted material, but they are putting exclusive stuff in these. Right there, new stories for 100-page books will be produced by the top writers like Tom King, who really isn't top at all. He's garbage. Brian Michael Bendis from Superman. And that was the whole point, is Bendis is doing some exclusive stuff come Batman, I want to say issue 3 maybe? And that totally spits in the face of Walmart by supporting good old Peter Strzok, however the hell you say his goddamn name. Yeah, right here at the bottom. Beginning with Batman Giant number 3 in September, superstar writer Brian Michael Bendis makes his DC debut on The Dark Knight. So his Batman story starts in the Walmart exclusive only Batman Giant. Now, why is that a big deal? How, right? What's the connection? I'll show you the connection. You take Bendis's I'm so sneaky camouflaged actions right here, right? By saying how great this was, right? How this guy blasted Trey. This guy didn't blast anybody, okay? Here's the real news on this guy. This guy Bendis thinks is so great. In so many words, what I'm getting at is Bendis just figured out the wrong dick to suck on Twitter. That's the best way you could really put it. Just listen to this right here.
Let's discuss a text that hits home for me. On August 26, 2016, you texted Ms. Page, quote, just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I could smell the Trump support. And smell is in capital letters, all capital letters. What does Trump support smell like, Mr. Strzok?
Sir, that's an expression of speech. I clearly wasn't smelling one thing or the other. What I was commenting on is living in Northern Virginia.
What does that mean?
What I meant by that was living in Northern Virginia, having traveled 100 and 150 miles south within the same state, I was struck by the extraordinary difference in the expression of political opinion and belief amongst the community.
Bullshit!
And you described that as smell in capital letters.
Sir, that was a quick choice of words at a time.
All right. So earlier, you had texted Ms. Page that another part of Virginia, Loudoun County, which is, I think, in Northern Virginia, is, quote, still ignorant hillbillies, end quote. Is that what you meant?
No, sir, not at all.
Did you consider Trump supporters to be ignorant hillbillies?
Not at all.
Smelly hillbillies that like Walmart. Now, you follow that exchange. Once again, Peter Strzok asks all of us, the American people, to suspend logic and believe he didn't really say what he was caught texting. Watch one more unbelievable, insane denial.
You were both rooting for Hillary Clinton to win, and you both detested Donald Trump. Did you not?
I think that's fair to say.
And in fact, as we've learned, you apparently found Donald Trump supporters detestable too, like those around Loudoun, Virginia, as we've already heard, whom you called ignorant blanks. I'm not going to say that here. And that you had visited a Southern Virginia Walmart and could smell the Trump support. Don't you think that the American people, when they're paying your salaries, when they're paying for a fair and unbiased investigation by none other than the FBI, deserved a whole lot better than what those comments I just referred to reflect?
Congressman, two things. One, I absolutely regret the appearance of some of those texts and wish I would have said or phrased or not said at all some of the things I did. Two, I disagree completely with your attribution to my views of Trump supporters. I never said that. I expressed no such thing.
Now, no intelligent American would believe that denial with more verbal gymnastics than we actually saw. I never thought we could top this. Former President Bill Clinton. Remember, it all depends what is. Now, we were alone, but I never really thought we were alone. In order to believe these bizarre explanations from this verbal contortionist, you would literally have to suspend all sense of fact and fiction. And of course, Peter Strzok, well, he does think that the smelly, irredeemable, deplorable Trump supporters of Walmart, the hillbillies like us that believe in God and guns and Bibles and religion, we don't measure up. He thinks, yeah, I guess we're pretty dumb and he can just do whatever he wants. I have some bad news for Peter. He's not the infallible super patriot that he clearly has convinced himself he is. He lies to our face, and in the end, he's not going to get away with it. In other words, he's not above the law, because the American people saw these lies today. We know a cover-up when we see one. By the way, so did Congressman Louis Gohmert. Take a look at this tense exchange.
And I'm going to cut it right there. If y'all want to come here and watch it, just go right there. Maybe I'll put the link in the description. You go right to Hannity and watch it. Anybody who says Hannity's lying to you just doesn't like his approach because he digs his thumbs in, okay? And now, anybody that Bendis could have picked, to kiss ass with, it's this guy right here. I mean, I'd be surprised if this guy wasn't a pedophile. Or was it pedivore? Whatever they call it. You know what I mean. I'd be surprised. I mean, this guy looks like Satan incarnate sitting there with those horns on his forehead coming up out of the top of his eyebrows. Jesus Christ. And this is who Bendis tweets about with a secretive smile on his face, just smiting Walmart and the exclusive deal they gave these guys. Think about that. The face of Walmart is anything but this guy right here. And that's who Bendis chooses to tweet about. Think about that for a second. Just think about that. Okay, next up. I don't know if anybody really read Superman #1, but I'm going to show you something. Maybe I'll show you the whole book here. But this character right here appears in Superman #1. You want to read, break down his story the best way you probably can. You go watch the cartoon over there on your left, Justice League Unlimited. There's an origin episode in there somewhere about this guy. Or this one right here, the New 52, Martian Manhunter #10, was a really good comic, actually. But Bendis uses this guy here to vicariously voice his opinions on globalism and the whole, the border war, we'll call it, that's going on down there, right? Even though Obama was doing the same stuff 5-6 years earlier, no one's going to protest that because the fake news MSNBC didn't highlight it, right? And all the brainwashed kids that went to the coastal graduates had nothing better to do until now, right? Okay. Well, either way, of course, Bendis, he thinks he's so sneaky using the alien, right? His metaphor for illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, he uses the alien to voice his opinion to the other alien, who a lot of us don't quite look at as an alien, and of course that being Superman. Here, I'll show you. And I almost forgot his story. The reason I put this together was he had his family stripped away from him. That's part of his origin story. Is he's got his family over here on the left side of the screen. He lost his family. This guy. That kind of makes him who he is and why he migrated to Earth and whatnot. And he's a big fan of Chacos too. That's what's going on over here on the right. That's kind of the joke with him. He's a big Oreo cookie guy. Art in this book is just phenomenal too. Reis did his Superman earlier. It was in Action Comics back in I want to say the 800s. He did some stuff. 825 with Magog. There's a really good Magog story I remember, and I want to say Prayas too. But as you can see, Reis's skills have improved immensely, as have Gleason's, which we noticed from Superman Rebirth. And I'm more or less just going to fly through this because I want to get to a certain part in this comic. as always, rocketed to Earth from the doom planet Krypton. And I don't know how y'all feel about Rogolzar. I mean, could that guy had a dumber name? Really? Could you have found a dumber name? I did like the end of it, though, but the mistake is here is they got Superman hunting his family down. Happens at the end of the Man of Steel series, and that's what he's doing here in space. And he just blows through the Dominators like they're nothing. And I think it would have been better if he wrote Supergirl, because at the end of Man of Steel, Supergirl's job was to look after them or go after his family. They left with Superman's dad, which I thought was another kind of dumb thing to do, even especially how they presented it. Superman's dad returns, and they show like one page of it in every comic until maybe 5 or 6. When they really reveal what's going on, and it happened. It was so horribly paced. That was a problem with Man of Steel. The pacing was just rushed and inept, and some of the art was just atrocious in the middle. It was bookended nicely, but the middle parts were just, it could have been 2 one-shots. And the one-shots they put out with it, the Superman special and the Action Comic special, were way better than the Man of Steel itself. Kind of to tie you over until they get the 2 big Superman books, monthly books, up and running again. But like I said, I'm going to kind of fly through this. Just take a look at it with you. Look at it. He's even got a booth in his kitchen. Who has a booth in their kitchen? I thought that was a TV-only thing that little kids always wanted. I remember when I was a little kid, I was like, why don't we have a booth in the kitchen? I think it was a home improvement thing. I don't remember, though. I do like what they did here with the Fortress of Solitude, but there is another way you could have done it better, because there's other Fortresses of Solitude that everybody forgets about out there. And I don't think he has Hal Jordan's voice down either. The Bermuda Triangle. Why there, I have no idea. Just because they thought it was a little esoteric, maybe. I don't know. But the drawings in this book are just fabulous. And that there's very reminiscent of the original Superman movie, Fortress of Solitude. Even the newer one they made with Brandon Routh when they brought back that timeline. Or they tried to restore that timeline after Superman returned. After that Richard Pryor bullshit. And who did he fight there? The Sun Man or the Kryptonite Man or something it was. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I can't remember if it was Kryptonite Man in the end or Richard Pryor was the last one. Before they brought out, before, what's his name, died. Christopher Reeve died. And it is Reeve. Everybody's like, Christopher Reeves. Or maybe it is Reeves. I don't even know. I think it is Christopher Reeve, though. Right here. Here's the alien shows up so Bendis can live vicariously through him to once again secretly get across his message. We already went over who Jean Johns is, the Martian Manhunter. I think he originally appeared in Detective Comics 225, if I'm not mistaken. And that book is worth some loot, too, by the way. And they actually redo it in Darwin Cook's The New Frontier, I want to say. And they did an animated movie of that one, too. So that's another place you could check out his story. I don't know if they go into the wife and kid separation bit, but so anyways, this is just two aliens talking, but we all look at Superman like he's one of us, right? Just super. And John is clearly an alien because he's green. And, Superman can't even have a conversation with him without flying away in a moment's notice to, I don't know, fly through whatever this is, a Transformer enemy or something. Ultra Beasts. Or Beast Wars shit, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, like the art is worth it alone. Another conversation about what they're setting up. The big line where Bendis can deliver his frickin' social mob justice. And I suppose it gives them an excuse to let Reis go crazy with the pencils too. Reis or Reis, however you say his name. Here we go. Here's the spot. The world needs what? Superman doesn't know what the world needs. And I don't know if anybody read Grounded out there by J. Michael Straczynski. Okay, Superman knows what the world needs, all right? He's not going to ask this guy. Your leadership. You and I have seen enough to know this world as it is, and beautiful as it is, does not work. We're going to be part of the galactic conversation soon, and someone is going to have to lead us there. Kind of saying, we need this guy, not Trump. It's just more fall guy. Like I said, propaganda, spewing poisonous pundits propped up on soapboxes, standing there in the park protesting with their pink pussy hats on. Someone needs to tell this entire world what they have built here with borders, money, and war. It's garbage. See, the main point there is the borders line. That was the whole point of that, was the borders line. Because Bendis is a globalist. He's just like this new group of coastal, brainwashed graduate students, who got nothing better to do than protest. And it's sad that these guys are really, sticking this stuff in here to try to influence people's opinion. They're trying to do the MSNBC thing, trying to kind of brainwash it over. What do they call it? Laura Ingraham, virtue signaling or whatever they call it. I've been smoking too many cigarettes today, that's for sure. But yeah, that really pissed me off that was in there. There's no point to any of this. This whole conversation is essentially pointless. It's like, if anything, I would have built upon what Straczynski did in Grounded, at least the first 6 issues, and 708. 708's the best modern Superman comic. It might even be the best single Superman comic I ever read. But yeah, and you know what he did in Earth 1, 2 is pretty good. Earth 2, Part 2, not so good, but and even if the people that don't like Earth 1, yeah, you've heard that story before, but the Earth 1 Superman story is the best version of that story. Okay, I would have built upon what Straczynski did, and the Johns and Gary Frank Superman Framework, Superman Secret Origin, Superman Brainiac, Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. People already asked Bendis about that. Sorry, sideways smiley face. Stupid shit. But yeah, it just bothers me that they do try to slip this stuff by on us. And that look from him like, oh, gee, did he understand what I meant? Oh, I'm so sneaky, I'm going to use the alien to speak for the frickin' Mexicans. And all these people that want border reform and no borders. Whoever wants to come over can just come over. God, what is wrong with people? And one of the reasons they do that is because of child trafficking. Huge, huge problem that no one ever talks about. You don't know if those people are their parents or not. And you know what these people don't like to hear that go and protest this stuff? Is when you tell them, what happens when you get pulled over and you have kids in the car? They're not going to let the kids go to jail with you. No. They go somewhere else. And you go in the backseat of the cop car by yourself. And they don't even want to hear that. Oh, I didn't come here to argue, and they'll walk away from you. It's just terrible what's happening into America. And it's even, you've heard about it before. It's freaking infecting the comics. And Bendis is a part of it. He's just trying to be real sneaky about it. And that pisses me off even more. That's why I made this video. Beautiful art. Definitely worth it in art. He's turning Earth into the Phantom Zone here. It's just kind of bad pacing once again, I kind of thought towards the end of this book. But like I said, great art. You can't go wrong with this guy drawing Superman. And I don't know who this guy is here. I don't know anything about him. Maybe he's an asshole, maybe he's not. But he got it right. At least some of it. You see that big button there in that second line. Superman by Brian Bendis is outstanding, but, B-U-T, but, it's the art is the best part of this book. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to slip in here. And as good as this Fortress of Solitude looks, I don't know how these Superman stories are going to come out. Like I said, New Avengers was good in the beginning. And with all that being said, before the video gets too long, make sure you subscribe here. I don't even care if you thumbs me up, If you're at home watching on the smart television or the smart Blu-ray and you ain't got time to fiddle with the thing, you subscribe once, you subscribe forever. You don't even got to turn on the dumb notifications. Just go through your feed. I could care less. But just make sure you sub here at the Fivefold Understanding channel. And with that being said, the saga continues.